I remembered to unmute this month. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the April community gathering live stream for the Works with RISC-V ecosystem. I'm Carl. I am your host. Um, we're doing something a little bit new this month. So if you hop in the Discord channel for the community gathering, there's a link to a Video Ninja site. And if you want to join the audio call and ask questions a little bit later, feel free. Otherwise, I'm still monitoring chat and all that fun stuff. So if you want to put a question in chat and not be on voice, that's fine as well. Let me push some buttons here and we can go through the brief amount of news and updates that I have for this month, and then we can get into the meat of the discussion, which is mostly just going to be showing off the Spacetime K3. So big news of since last month, Sci-Fi has successfully raised a round G. So congratulations to them. I'm hoping that they can continue to do wonderful things. Linux kernel 7.0 shipped earlier this week with lots of big changes for RISC-V related stuff. Initial bring up for the K3 is in there. A lot of new drivers for the Spacetime K1 as well. Really excited to see how that's going to go. I've not had a lot of time to go sit down and dig through what works and what doesn't, trying to run some of that hardware on mainline kernels, but I'm hoping to be able to do that early next month. I'm busy for the next couple of weeks with a bunch of other things. Some of them related to this, some of them not, but we'll see how it goes. So hopefully have more information there. Espressif has also announced a few more RISC-V based ESP32 devices. And on that note of microcontrollers, this past weekend, no, excuse me, 2 weekends ago, Easter weekend was the revision demo party in Germany. Happens every Easter weekend, and they have a category for wild. And in the wild category, there was an entry for RISC-V. This particular entry here, I'm going to drop this link in the community gathering channel for folks who are interested. You can watch the YouTube video by clicking on this. I could also pull it up and show it to you. But honestly, it's better that you watch it in person. The big thing you need to know here, this is an unmodified Raspberry Pi Pico 2 with only 512 meg of RAM and outputting DVI video. I actually have it running on an RP2350 in the back. I reached out to the author. I'm following him on Patreon. Super excited to be able to show this off at coming conferences later this year. So that's really excited, and it's really cool to watch, and I'm excited to see where that goes. On the note of upcoming events, let's chat about upcoming events quickly. Microelectronics US is next weekend. It is here in it's in Austin, Texas. RISC-V International is going to have a big presence there. As far as I know, it is free to attend. If you're looking for more information or you're having difficulty getting tickets, feel free to reach out either on Discord or to me directly. Happy to try and get you in touch with the appropriate people. Red Hat Summit is early next month in Atlanta. At the moment, I'm going to be there helping with a bunch of RISC-V demos with fellow ambassador Jeffro, doing a bunch of stuff at the community booth. It is not cheap to go to Red Hat Summit, so if you're not already going, I don't expect you to be there. But if you are able to attend, come hang out in the community area and say hi, because community is what makes Red Hat happen. And I'm happy to be able to jump in and show off some of the stuff we're doing. I'm going to have that little RP2350 demo running, and we're going to have several machines running different Fedoras and CentOS builds, which will be quite exciting. Week after that is Open Source Summit North America. I will not be attending this. RISC-V International is doing a mini summit there. Tickets for this also not cheap. So if you're in the Minneapolis area, might be worth swinging by. There are probably ways of getting discounted tickets. I don't know them off the top of my head. But if you're looking for a way in, hit me up. I will get you in touch with the appropriate people. We can move forward from there. And then jumping forward a couple months, OpenSauce 2026. We'll have a booth there, is the current plan. That is the weekend of July 17th through the 19th. I have a very fun thing planned for this. It's very retro and old school, but I'm hoping it's also going to be a lot of fun at the same time. So if you're in the area, stop by. and pick up a fun little souvenir that you can generate on a RISC-V machine while you're there. And special shout out to the folks at Scale who gave me the inspiration for this plan. I'm looking forward to showing it off. Also, promise to have new stickers at Open Source, and we'll also have a mechanism for folks who can't attend conferences but do want some stickers to be able to get them because stickers make the world go round. Let's just go over to start looking at the K3. So this is the K3. It's going through my web KVM, so there's a little bit of lag, but it's not too terrible. This is currently running Ubuntu 26.04 pre-release. Technically, this is the Beyondboo version of it, and there's a couple minor differences that this has versus just the straight generic um, Ubuntu build. The first couple things that I wanted to show off, this font is probably way too small. Let's see if I can make that bigger. I can. First thing I wanted to show off is that if we, yeah, if we run GL info, we don't get anything, which is hilarious. But if you do Vulkan info and we look at it, this is actually running the Power VR series GPU in Vulkan mode at least. So on the plus side, VK Cube works and is blazingly fast. I'm fairly certain VK Gears works as well. Vixia and I in chat earlier this week were trying to get something a bit more exciting than these demos running. I believe GLX Gears. No, it doesn't. There's something wrong with the build at the moment that is preventing OpenGL stuff from functioning, but most other things work. The other thing that's worth pointing out is how just kind of snappy everything is on this. I'm running on the internal eMMC. In a moment, we're going to reboot and go over to Fedora, and that is running on an NVMe SSD. Um, for those who are interested in what exactly this is, um, let's try this little test of pulling up a web browser and looking at some stuff. So if we go to the Spacetime website, this isn't the best demo because, like, you know, their website is on the opposite side of the world. That is not. Oops, I've screwed up. One moment. I keep forgetting I can't use web browser keyboard shortcuts when you're using a web browser based KVM. It's not good. Hey, that's what I wanted. All right, so if we go here to the K3, um, this is details about the processor that we're currently running, but the important thing that I wanted to show off was the actual device, which I don't think it has information of on their website, which is kind of hysterical because they're the ones who are making all the variants of it. But that's fine. We'll go to SizeBeat's website because I can show it to you there. So, I think they're making it a light sheet. Nope, I am wrong. Let's go to others. Nope. Okay, that's fine. We'll try this instead. One of these vendors will show me the board that we're, there we go. This is the board that we're actually running on. Milk 5 calls it the Jupiter 2, but this is basically the Pico ITX variant of the system. This is what ironically, this shot here is what the bottom of the board looks like. I don't know if they're all going to come this better shot of it. So that's the bottom of the board. You can see this giant cluster of passive components here. That's the bottom of the actual SoC. That's the bottom of the 10 gigabit NIC chip that is driving this SFP Plus port here. In the system that I have, and I will admit that I have a pre-release prototype, it's in a NUC style case. And you do pop the bottom off, and when you pop the bottom off, this is what you see. There's a massive heatsink and fan on the opposite side of it to do all the cooling. But as you can see, stuff's pretty snappy and runs pretty well. Let me try and open up a What is a good website that isn't going to make everyone sad that I can pull up to show how? Here, we'll just, no, we won't do that. Let's do this. The WebGL Aquarium. The last time I ran this, it worked, but I forgot to test earlier today. Yeah, so this is obviously all running in the software renderer, but even so, using the software renderer, we're not consuming a stupid amount of resources, which is great. And you can even see CPU utilization is not terrible. Um, One of the things that I did want to point out when we look at CPU utilization, let me embiggen this so that we can see all of the information. You'll notice that there are all 16 cores are listed here, but we're only using these 8. So this is an interesting thing that the space-time team did along with the kernel upstreaming folks um, for the way this system works. So if you look at the data sheets, there's 2 clusters of cores. There are 8 cores that are application level cores, and then there are the 8 of what they call the AI cores. Those would be these guys over here that aren't doing anything. The AI cores are um, available for you to use, but how that functions is you basically have to um, you have to opt into using those cores by creating a C group, and then your process can run in those cores. This was done on purpose, and part of the reason for this is because for the AI tasks, there are, or basically anything that's doing a large amount of data processing, if you can take advantage of the 1024-bit vector registers, you will get significant performance enhancements running on the AI cores, but it is an in-order processor, so it's a lot slower than the application cores. So this way, everything runs on the application cores by default, and you basically have to opt in to running on the AI cores. I've not had an opportunity yet to get it up and running with the trying to actually run something on the AI cores. I haven't actually had a good program to test with at the moment. But this is one of the things that you can look forward to on this. If you're doing any sort of performance benchmark, you're basically only going to see these first 8 cores working, and you're going to need to do something else to run on the other 8 cores, which isn't the end of the world, but that's where things are at the moment. I just noticed somebody messaged in chat. Am I a professor at the University of Austin? I am not. I am I'm a RISC-V ambassador. I am basically an individual. I wish I was smart enough to teach at UT. Okay, so let me quickly jump out of this and do the little dance here to go show something else off, which is Fedora. Um, Look over here, and no, I don't want to power off. I actually want to reboot. Fine, I'll do it the other way. Oh, it's this one. No, it's not this one. It's this one. Love it. All right, that's fine. We will do it this way. All right. Thanks, Ubuntu. I love you too. All right, let me see if I can at least just log out, and then I should be able to reboot from the main screen. Yes, I am going to log out. That is what I want. Thanks. One of the things that is slightly frustrating about this is if you're getting your hands on one of these early, the biggest thing that I will say is it doesn't even give me the option there either. That's fine. I've got another way to do this, which I'm going to need to come over here to do make a change anyways. Give me 1 second. One of the things that is slightly frustrating about this particular build at the moment is power management in the display controller for talking to the videos is not very good. So one of the problems that you run into is that if it puts the display to sleep, it won't come back, which is unfortunate for sure. But we've come back up. U-Boot's kicked off. You didn't see it because it's on the serial console, but there is actually grub running on this, and we're kicking over to Fedora. I'm sharing the kernel and the RAM disk from Ubuntu, which is why it currently says Ubuntu, but will not look like Ubuntu in a moment. Props as usual goes to the Fedora community for this, and specifically the Fedora Force 5 team out of China, and working with my fellow ambassador Weifu from Red Hat. They have images for the SOM version of this board as opposed to this Pico ITX version, but I was able to just put it on the NVMe drive and kick over to the to using um, the kernel and the device tree that comes with the Beyondbu install, and use the Fedora user space, and that has worked just fine, which is great. So here is Fedora. Go log in here quickly. I don't remember it. This is their LXQT build, which is interesting. I've not actually seen this before. I don't believe there's any reason why you couldn't use anything else. Um, because this is just straight Fedora, things like GL info works, but you will notice, hopefully you will notice, see if I can make the text bigger. There we go. You will notice while looking at this that this is indeed LLVM pipe. So we're running software renderer for OpenGL, which isn't surprising. The GPU is not capable of doing GL natively. And in this particular instance, this has a slightly older version of Mesa, and so it is using LLVM pipe for the Vulkan as well. Because of that, um, good old VK Cube works. Little chunky, but not terrible. I think GLX gears, which is also a little bit chunky, but not too bad either. Again, you can see like one of the things that I'm really impressed by with this system is just how fast the starting of processes is. Um, Much like before, if we do something like run VKCube, which, like I said, this is running entirely on the processor. If I come over here and I open up a new tab, and if I did this correctly, yep, you can see we're using a fair amount of the CPU to make that work. Why the huge difference between Ubuntu in here, and that boils down to the fact that this isn't currently using the driver for the Imagination GPU. My hope is that with the mainstream kernels having support for this GPU in it in 7.1, that we'll be able to get some of that working. I know one of the gaps that's missing at the moment, this uses a different display controller subsystem than any of the other boards that are currently on the market. So there's still some work to get that upstreamed, and I don't know what Spacetime's answer for that is. Um, Projects or courses to learn RISC-V for students with a background in electronics. I can suggest some stuff for that. So I'll put a link in the Twitch chat here, and I'll also copy it over to the other, um, uh, give me one second here. Um, yes, I'll put it in both chats in just a moment. Um, but those are some great resources to get started with. I've sent these links before. Uh, Lots of great tutorials there. There's also a training course that is available through the RISC-V International organization. If you go to riscv.org, they have a free training course that you can go through to learn more about it there. For more kind of like courses and things like that, a lot of that stuff is linked on this Learn page. And also, if you're interested in jumping in and getting started with something, please come join us on Discord. Happy to answer questions and point you at more stuff there. Link is on the screen to do that. But this is probably the big things that I wanted to show off today. I guess one of the things that we can do, since this is full-blown Fedora, is answer the eternal question. And let me do this on the window where we get the which is, does it run Doom? And the answer, of course, is yes, but we might as well try and get it installed here. I just got this running earlier today, so I don't have it pointing at the worldwide mirrors. This is currently running off of the Fedora 5 Force Koji instance, which is in mainland China. It's not a problem. It's just kind of slow to get to. The main RISC-V repos for Fedora are available through the standard Fedora mirrors worldwide right now. So, Free Doom 1. Hey, look, it runs Doom. Can I make it bigger? Probably. Let's see here. Let's go to options. It's not going to be very. I think it's in here. Nope. It's been a while since I've played with Free Doom. Um, it's also one of those things where it might work if I do. Nope. That's fine. But yes, it plays Doom, which is great. I think there's also a way to. Is there a. Let's go searching here. Uh, I don't think there is a. Yeah, there's not a Quake running on it at the. There's not a Quake I can install at the moment. Also, it's going to be slow because it's running entirely in the software renderer. Um, in fact, if I come back over here and I fire up increase the font size a bit, and then fire up BTOP again so we can see what's going on, and then I go. That's not what I wanted. Sorry. Go run FreeDoom. We can see that it's probably being very grumpy. You gonna let me do the? Nope, it's not gonna let me do that. All right, that's fine. Is there a way to say that I want this in windowed mode? Oh, yes. Okay. How do I get to next? Ah, like that. Nope, that doesn't help. What's funny is that I was trying to get Doom and Quake working on my very old RISC systems, which is to say some SGI gear the other day, and was having some difficulty with that because the screen changes color when you get a pickup or you get hit. And one of the things that I was noticing is like how they're doing that is just awful. And it causes my SGI machine to crash. So I'm trying to find a different version of Quake that I can run on there. But as you can see, yeah, running FreeDOM was taking all of the CPU, and the primary reason for that is because right now this is just running in straight frame buffer mode. Even with the limited capabilities that the GPU for this has, it does provide a faster way for frames to actually get copied into the frame buffer for the display server. So even without all of the GL acceleration, it's not so great. Oh, Super Tux Kart. Excellent point. Let's see if we can find that. Um, it's probably what? Oh, the horror. It's just Super Tux. Okay, great. All right, let's see if this works bad. I'm sure it'll work. Just I'm sure it's going to be all right as well for the same reasons. But since someone asked, we'll fire up Super Tux Card as soon as it's done downloading here. Um, while that's happening, any other questions, comments, queries that I can answer for folks? Otherwise, once we get to the end of Super Tux Card here, I'm probably going to wrap it up unless other people have specific questions or things that they want to see. Um, there it goes. Yeah, like I said, not great because it's all running in software renderer, but it does work. Uh, yeah, let's just run story mode, see how it goes. It's been a while since I've done this. One of the other things that I am working on at the moment, just for some insight, and unfortunately, the part I needed literally arrived about 30 minutes before the start of the stream. I'm trying to get an external GPU working on this system. It's been frustrating. If you recall from, I did press escape to quit there to skip. Okay. Um, Let me. I'll quit this out and I will show because it's not great. Um, if you recall from what I was looking at earlier, let me go pull this up again. Right, Falcon. Oops. So looking at this board, you'll notice not a lot of uh, not a lot of space. This is a very small design, being Pico ITX. Um, but there is this NVMe M.2. I think this is a B key 2282, so standard NVMe slot here. I've tried a couple different ways of plugging this into an external GPU. I tried the Jeff Geerling special using a Oculink adapter um, and the with a retimer, plugging that into a Minis Forum dock. And while the card was detected, and I could see it on the PCI Express bus, whenever it tried to load the drivers for it, that didn't work very well. And by the card, I mean I tried two different AMD cards, a NVIDIA card that's supported by the Nouveau drivers, and an Intel Arc card. So we'll see what happens there. Um, and then I have currently the smaller 2242 slot here. I have a small SSD in right now. Asked if we can run LLVM pipe on the A100s. We can. It would actually be slower because those A100 cores are about 4 times as slow as the application cores. Also, on top of that, there's no vector optimizations inside of LLVM pipe right now. Anything other than just what the default LLVM install would do. So there's probably no performance benefit to doing that. Honestly, the way to get the better performance out of it is going to be to use an external GPU, and so that's one of the things that I'm trying to work through. I'm not sure how we're going to make that work with the framework laptop that's coming from Deep Computing. I'm there. I know that there's going to be two M.2 slots on that, so we might be able to jury rig something fascinatingly weird in order to make that go while keeping it inside of the framework form factor. No guarantees yet, but we'll see what we can do. Um, uh, do, 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 do. Oh, update from the community gathering chat is that the Titan had some instability issues with the DDR DIMM traces and layout on the board, and so they're doing a respin of it. That explains why that's being late. So I guess I'm glad I haven't canceled that pre-order yet. Um, Other than that, any other questions that I can answer for folks? Otherwise, this was the majority of what I had for this week. I'm super happy to have this running. I posted a whole bunch of stuff into the Spacetime K3 channel about the trials and tribulations getting here. I have some photos of what it looks like when it's plugged into the external dock up there. I do have the kernel source code now. Unfortunately, it's under NDA, so I can't share it with anyone. But I am starting in 2 weeks, going to actively start putting together a publicly accessible tree using public patches to try and allow other folks to be able to get stuff up and running with a 7.1 pre-release kernel. At least that's what I'm calling it at the moment. And keeping track of the things that are going on there. A lot like what Jason Montleon was doing with some of the kernels that I talked about before. I'm just going to do one specifically for the K3. Might even work with Jason on it as well. He and I are in talks. I broached the subject with him, but he hasn't responded yet. So I'll ping him through my other channels. But other than that, if anyone has any questions, I am happy to answer them. Otherwise, I think I'm going to log off for this evening. I'm glad I was able to show this off for folks. We'll get a version of this up on YouTube in the near future so that folks can look at it there as well. Um, I realize that the Ubuntu stuff is a little rough, but the fact that we're getting this far is great news. We'll work with the ecosystem to try and get stuff, work with the RISC-V teams at Fedora to try and make this better. I think just getting a newer kernel on board and then also getting, if memory serves, um, this is a I think this is a almost good enough version in order to run Mesa libegl. Yeah, this is 25.25, which I think is close to getting everything working for these imagination drivers. Ah, and I thought this was the way to show all the different versions because it might be pinned, but I'm not sure. I don't think it is. Um, it might be that it needs 26.1. I'm not sure. But if you saw the news recently from both the FCO, the Fedora steering committee, and this was also posted on Phoronix. There is now an exception where we can bring in newer versions of Mesa. And so I will talk with folks and see what we can come up with trying to get the newer version up and running, and that will probably help performance quite a bit because it can talk to the GPU natively, and then it can take advantage of Zinc, which will actually do GL acceleration using the parts of OpenGL that are available. This GPU is extremely underperformant. I know he's been in chat talking to us about some of the things. There's some pretty major functionality missing, so it may not be as awesome as we would like it to be, but anything is going to be better than nothing. So hopefully we can get some better stuff soon. Um, like I said, that's pretty much all I had for tonight, folks. Thanks again for stopping by. Always available at the Discord to answer more questions, and look forward to catching up with everyone there. And otherwise, we will see you all next month. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.